The reason I created with the Blue Collar Initiative is because I myself, before I became a plumbing apprentice or even attended TCC's plumbing program, I looked for a wealth of knowledge on YouTube as well as many other platforms to kind of understand what it is I was getting myself into. I can understand the headache and the heartache that it takes when you look up something and you cannot figure out, is this for me, is it not for me, or what it really is that you are about to get yourself into. I can understand the uncertainty and the problems you may face trying to talk to your parents about it or give your peers a lesson about it. That's why we're here. Is here to create a new understanding, a new perspective for not only yourself, but for those of you may want to talk to about it.
So what's your name?
Joseph Garcia.
Joseph, why are we here?
We're here for the Blue Collar Initiative trailer.
Okay, so tell me what the Blue Collar Initiative is.
Well, the Blue Collar Initiative came about because I want to create new information and new understanding for individuals who might be underrepresented or just simply not like each other, like the other peers. I can understand being a little bit different or coming from different situations. And so I feel like the Blue Collar Initiative is here to create a new perspective for individuals to kind of understand, you can join plumbing, you can join welding, you can join whatever it is you wish to do, and you can have a nice, stable life. And it really creates a whole new outlook on life for you.
Okay. So you were telling me earlier that you came from a smaller high school. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What were the areas you were being pushed into, or what were the areas that were recommended to you as careers?
College is a big one.
Yeah.
College is if you don't go to college, you're not anything. And I disagree with that on a very, very big, extensive, very, very big, extensive platform because, that's not true at all. There's so many people who are blue collar and outwork anyone in an office in a tuxedo or whatever you may feel like, or scrubs, because we work harder, and not only that, but we're more respected because what we do is hard work. I can understand people don't like to do labor or feel like it's dirty or grimy, but in all reality, we're necessary. If you have no plumbers, you have no electricians, you have no way to live. And so I feel like there should be a newfound respect for it. And me going to college was going to cost me about $80,000. After I calculated everything up, and I don't have $8,000, and I know a lot of people don't either. So, if you have the means to go to a trade school, by all means, do it. I was also pushed to be a farmer. I was a farmer for 5 years. From 11 years old, I started working in the fields till I was 16 and decided I needed a different job. Backbreaking work like that is rewarding, but at the same time, it's not what the trades can provide for you. When you have things that are also unionized, like plumbing is, there's someone to look out for you and watch your back all the time compared to, a job you might get right after high school who says they're there for you or might watch your back, but in the end, they really have no plan for you.
So you created the Blue Collar Initiative to help students that are looking for a career or looking for an alternative to college,
yes, sir.
Maybe. Tell me why you wouldn't have gone to college. Let's leave the money part out of it. Mm-hmm. What are there any other reasons you wouldn't have gone to college?
I don't feel college is for me. Me specifically, I have a learning disability, and so my whole life school's been very, very hard for me. I like to learn with my hands, and I know there's a high percentage of individuals who have ADHD or even just another learning disability, and they struggle with it. They struggle to kind of sit down and understand. And when you kind of take away the high school classroom kind of setting, it becomes hard because you're just a number in a machine. If I went to college, I was 1 out of 100 students, and there's no way that I can say that for sure my professor would have been like, I will give you the hands-on information that you need, that is necessary for you to succeed. And so I thought that was a really big thing as well. As well, I go to a trade school, and my instructors talk to me on a daily basis. Are you getting it? Do you understand it? What is it that we can do to help you? And I feel like that's far more important. We're in smaller classes, and even the bigger classes, we're still individuals to them, compared to where you have a university platform like Baylor or Howard or any other type of class like that, where you're kind of just a number. You pay them, they give you the information, and you leave. And I've met people who go to university and they say they don't like it at all. But you're paying, to be there. You wish to be there because you feel like you need the degree. And I've asked a lot of them, are you going to switch degrees? And they said yes, because they don't really understand what it is they want to do. And so that's another reason I started Blue Collar Initiative, is to provide multiple areas of information. So that way, if you decide you want to be a plumber, you're a plumber and you have the information to do so. But if you're just like, I kind of want to be a plumber, I kind of want to be a welder, I kind of want to be some mechanic, we can provide all that information for you and more. So that way you can really decide that's really what I want to do or that's really what I want to do. Compared to where you just have this degree plan and nobody kind of talks about it. You're just like, that's the degree plan. You're there for 2 years, decide you don't want to do it, and then you switch over. So it's a lot less of a hassle.
Where do I find out about the Blue Collar Initiative? I mean, this is a podcast, video series. Tell me what this thing is and where I find it.
I really want to do the podcast as well as offer the video part of it so that way you can kind of see yourself and what it is. I can understand when you're listening, driving, wherever you are. I mean, there might be truck drivers who want to listen to it just to kind of give their information to their children. And so that's why I really believe the podcast platform is necessary. So that way people who might not have the time to watch the video can just listen to it whenever they want, however they feel. At any time, you can stop it, pause it, doesn't matter. But with the video aspect of it is I can understand individuals not being able to see themselves in who is talking or who is speaking. And so me, myself, I have tattoos, I'm a person of color. And I mean, that doesn't bother anyone most of the time anyways, especially in the trades. I mean, they're going to see a bunch of different characters. And I feel like understanding that I might not look like you, but I do understand you. Or I might look like you and I do understand you. And so having the video part of it is a lot more important for me. And also, I mean, you can find us on any social media platform. I want to be able to access you however you feel comfortable, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I mean, if you just want to put out a tweet, hey, Blue Collar Initiative, I got a question, I'm all there for it. You know what I mean? Or if you have a question, all you have is Instagram, you can DM me. It's no problem. You have Facebook, follow our business page. You can ask us questions there as well. I don't want there to be any excuse for someone not to be able to have the information that they need.
Yeah. So if they were going to reach out to you on social media, what do they look for?
You can go to the Blue Collar Initiative on any platform, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. You can also go to YouTube. I will, as soon as we get our first episode out, I'll have the link tree down there. We'll have my email, so you can inbox me, email me any questions you have. And I mean, my door's always open. I have a whole different phone separated just so that I can answer phone calls or anything that's necessary for it. So, yeah.
So tell me why you're doing this.
I mean, I'm a kid who comes from poverty. I mean, at one point, my dad worked in a cotton gin. Me and my mother, my two siblings, and myself all slept on the floor inside a house where my uncle and his children, they slept. And I can understand what it's like to be a kid in today's society and not feel like you have your spot, like you have your place. And so I really want to create that for a lot of individuals. And I can understand also people tell you, go to college or you're just not going to be anything with your life. That's not true. I mean, we used to push so heavily for blue collar so hard because we keep the society running. I mean, if you have no electricians, you have no power. If you have no plumbers, you live, and I'm not even joking. I went to a lady's house who hadn't used her toilet in a year. She had to use a bucket and then clean it out. Without plumbers, there's no way for you to create any sort of health environment for anything. I mean, you like taking a shower every day? Plumbers are necessary in order for you to do that. And so people don't think about these things. They think, if I snap my finger, everything's going to be magically fine and it'll just go away. But we're necessary. And we see numbers depleting year after year. And I feel like if people just kind of understood the gravity of what it is blue collar has to offer society, they would feel like they would get so much more respect for it. Instead of, you didn't go to college, you don't get any respect from anybody. But if you do these jobs, I mean, you get respect from individuals. You are in a respective career. People just don't seem to understand that.
Tell me about the depletion of the numbers. Like I've heard of that before in different areas. Tell me about your area.
The numbers for sure in plumbing are kind of frightening. Reason being is the average age of an individual to retire is 60 years old, and the average age of a master plumber is 58. And one of the things that they don't account for is that there's plenty of journeymen who have 20 years plus experience who never decided to get their journeyman's license or their master's license, excuse me. That means that there's journeymen who wish to retire when they're 60 that just decided not to get their master's license. So not only are you looking at masters leaving and they are necessary for businesses to operate, but you're looking at journeymen who help run the day-to-day and are maybe even your lead service supervisors. They're in charge of, running all the crews, putting them all out on different service calls, and also the guy you call when, hey, this service tech can't get it done. Well, I need you to come over here. I mean, a guy with 28 experience versus a guy with 4 years experience, there's a drastic difference. And so when you lose those guys that have all that key knowledge and they've been through so many things and experienced so many things, it's very hard for us to get back on track. And so when you look at the average age of a master who's 58 years old, he's going to retire in 2 years. That's kind of scary. I mean, back in the old days, we're looking at 30, the average age of a master plumber. You can get it by the time you're 30, your master's license. And that's if you really just try hard. There's guys I've met who have started at 16, have 12 years experience, and are apprentices. because they don't want any responsibility in any form, any way, shape. And I don't understand that, but I also kind of feel like when you are a licensed plumber, there's a whole different weight. There's a whole different attitude you have to present. And if we could just get people to come in and decide, you know what, I want to be the very best I can be at what I do at all times. That is what I want. I want for someone to see it like I do, whereas I want to be able to say, I did that, I respect my work, and I take pride in it, and I take joy in it. And I really want people to kind of understand that it's not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to be like, oh, well, you know, oh, I'm a plumber. No, I said that very proudly. I'm a plumber. Like, I have no issue with it. And I feel like that's why we're here, as well as to help people. You have to understand that perspective is everything. If we have no perspective, then there's nothing. Because you could look at somebody and say, you know, hey, look, you know, they look a certain way, they act a certain way, and they could be something entirely different. But it's your perspective on it. And so that's why I say, you know, create a new understanding. That's why I have it on the logo is, you know, to create a new understanding. Because there's so many people who are misguided and misjudge what we have and what it is we do. And I feel like that needs to stop. And it is really a problem for us because there's a lot of stereotypes on every industry, really, is that, I mean, we work hard. We just kind of, you know, don't care. And we really just don't have anything in life. And I met plumbers who have everything. You know, the man who used to work at the company I now work for, he sold his company for $14 million. And all it is a plumbing company. I mean, $14 million sounds like pretty nice to me. So,
Yeah, I think almost anybody out there would take 14.
Yeah, I would, for sure.
If you're a high school student and you're looking for something, like maybe you're just looking for direction,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're looking for information, what's their first move?
Well, my first move was YouTube. And so with YouTube, there's a gentleman named Roger Wakefield. Now, Roger has his own like little plumbing program, and he also gives informational videos. And so he does live streams. And one day I was in Roger's live stream, and I kind of asked him, you know, if I want to start out, where do I find out? And he goes, well, look up colleges. Look up colleges and whatever it is that you want to do. And he helps people outside of plumbing as well, but he is more of a plumbing specific type of individual. And so he said, look up the best colleges in Texas. The best ones for you to go to plumbing. And there's maybe like 5 that offer a plumbing program. And there are certain plumbing programs where it's like PHCC, and they do like all your water heaters and stuff like that. They help make those. And so they have classes for it, but they're not anything that THCC has done. I mean, I go to THCC for 2 years. I graduated with my journeyman's license. I feel like that's far more advanced than anything else that you could do. And they were rated number 1. And they're rated number 1 for a reason. And so I think if you just do a little bit of just digging, just a little bit. I mean, look up top 10 and all across America. But if you don't want to leave your state, just look up top 10 in your state. I feel like that is where you need to start. You say, look, I will go here. This is what I want to do. And then after that, kind of educate yourself on it. You know, if you're starting from scratch, look up the basics. Look up the beginner level of everything. So that way you're not going in just completely blindsided. And also, I would say go visit those programs. I visited THCC. I visited their program, and I understood that the man who is the administrator above me also has ADHD. He also has a learning disability. That made me connect with him on a personal level because I feel like he understands me. And Mr. Bibb is a fantastic individual. But when you go and you see for yourself where it is that you want to be, it's necessary. Because if you feel like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to school and never visit, never ever even look at it. You show up, you say, I hate this. I hate the way it is, I hate the way it's set up. You need to put in the footwork for it. And I feel like with BCI, we are here to help you with that, help you navigate that. And of course, I mean, you have any questions? Go ahead and ask me. I mean, I was in the same place that you were just a year ago, you know? I mean, I'm only 18 years old, and I'm doing everything I can to help everybody else. But it's a process, and everybody has to go through it. I mean, even if you're just going to college itself, you pick the college you want. Some kids have a college they've decided from, a child that they wanted to go to. But, I mean, there's people like Western Welding Academy, I think it's called, and they put videos on YouTube. They say, hey, man, you want to come over here? This is what we do. That's how it is. They lay out entire platforms for you to understand. There's videos of their students welding. There's videos of how they operate. And I feel like if you just want to go be a welder, go look up those videos. You know what I'm saying? Go visit those programs. TCC has a fantastic welding program. If you want to go visit it, I mean, we set it up. There's no issue. But it's about what you want to do. It's about how you approach it. I feel like look up the beginner steps of it, and also kind of look into what's the 5-year goal, you know? Also, where do I want to be in those 5 years? Do I want to be at a trade school? Do I want to be inside a shop learning how to do it hands-on, not go to school at all? You have to kind of give yourself some options and don't just kind of put yourself in a box. But that's how I would approach it.
So last thing, where do you get your work ethic?
Oh, that's my mom and my dad. So it's like we talked about. My mom was in a car accident before we started this. My mom worked 2 jobs. My parents separated. My dad's a full-time farmer. He used to be a gangbanger and involved in selling drugs, and he turned his life around. He's also been free of alcohol for about going on 4 years now. And so he decided to turn his life around for us, for his kids. And he's been a farmer for almost 8 years now, and he works very, very hard. Very, very hard. My mother works 2 jobs, one at the Region Center, and then she also works at Domino's delivering pizza. And so there was a lot of times where I would only see my mother in the morning, and she was asleep because she would work until 1 o'clock in the morning the previous night. She would get up at 7:30, be at work by 8, and then I wouldn't see her for the rest of the day. And I would see her again when she was asleep. And so I take that as I cannot fail. I have to succeed. There's no way in hell I'm going to fail when whatever it is I do. And my parents will always be proud of me. They'll always be, feel a sense of accomplishment. Because, I didn't expect to be any more older than 15 years old before I passed away. I really thought that I was going to be either in jail or just dead. And even after I turned 15, I was like, I don't know how much longer we got, but we're here. And I was like, hey, that's a really fucked up way to look at life, especially as a child. Because when I was 8 years old, I decided I was not going to live past 15 years old. And so it was, all there was negative around me until we moved. And even then, when we moved, I slept on the floor with my 2 other siblings and my mom and my dad. And it kind of taught me a lot about life. I don't want to be there ever again. I don't want to sleep on the floor with anyone else. And it motivates me to be better. And my family's not rich in any sense or any way. They still have to, my mom will still have to go work after she's done recovering from everything she's going through right now. But there's no stopping. It doesn't exist.
So, you want kids?
I do want children. Yes, sir. What do you want for them? I want everything for them. I don't want my children to have to live the way I lived. And then experience the things I experienced. It's not a way for kids to grow up because, even as a young man, I knew that I had to do something. Working in the fields at 11 years old is not anything I want for my children at all. It's hell. It really is. And I'm all messed up. I'm 18 years old. I have back problems. My hands have arthritis in them, juvenile arthritis. It's not any way I want my children to live. I want them to decide what they want to be. Like if they want to be a lawyer, go ahead and be a lawyer, But if they want to be a tradesman,
so this whole thing is basically to make the next generation better?
Mm-hmm. And even the kids in my generation. Not only the next one, but the ones now. And even some of the previous ones. There's a lot of guys who sit on their parents' couch at 30 years old. And I don't understand that. I really don't. My mom is 35. My dad's 37. They had me. My mom was 16. The work ethic is immaculate because I never went without. But there's people who sit on the couch at their parents' house playing video games. Maybe they just need something. I'm hoping this is what they need. But there has to be change on every level. Otherwise, we'll be nothing. That's how I feel. Hi, my name is Joseph Garcia. I'm the host of the Blue Collar Initiative. On the Blue Collar Initiative, our goal is to create a better understanding of trades and the careers you might want to pursue or get into. You can find us on any social media platform, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at the Blue Collar Initiative. And you can also find us on YouTube and any other streaming platform that you get your podcasts. Thank you.